Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone from Nigeria, West
Hi.
Africa. Uh, we're excited to eventually have this stream. It's been coming for quite some time now, and we're excited to talk to everyone who will be joining us on this call. So my name is Mr. Gabriel, and I'm here on the call with two guests, Mufa and Maureen. So just going to give a little bit of description about our guest. Infam has been a colleague of mine for a couple of years now. She's a front-end engineer, and we've had like a great time working together, and, a couple of streams together. So right, so she's going to be giving us more information about herself in a bit. While for Maureen is an alumni of Skillport. At the time, it was called something different. It was called E. Gabriel Bootcamp, but now it's rebranded to Skillport, right? And she's really grown into bigger things. So she's going to be telling us a lot about her journey and how she's come to be who she's come to be, right? So I'm just going to drop the mic for a bit so I'll have Mufon and Maureen introduce themselves. Starting with Mufon.
Hello, everyone. All the way from Lisbon, Portugal. Here, as Gabriel said, actually a front end developer, and we've worked together for a while from our previous company. Um, is there anything much fun about me? There's nothing much to know about me. Just that's generally it. So you will get to know more about me, and I'll get to be in the session with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy the session. So I hand over to Maureen.
Yeah, hey guys. My name is Maureen, just like Gabriel said. Um, and like you rightly said, I have been an alumni of his boot camp, and I can tell you one thing for free that he's a great tutor. So I'll just indulge you guys, use the opportunity to indulge you guys to please register for this boot camp that is coming up soon. If you know you want to plan the tech role this year, I would say you should really join this bootcamp. This bootcamp actually helped me a lot in the past, and you know, it led me on to great companies. After I finished, I learned a lot from there, and it's hands on, so I was able to pick up fast and I moved very fast. So I'll just say you guys should um, prepare to join that bootcamp and stay tuned this evening while you hear from us on our journey and how we have been able to navigate the tech industry. All right.
Thank you very much, Mufon and Emma and Maureen, rather. My bad. So yeah, today we're going to be discussing about how we can prepare for learning a tech skill in 2025. 2025 just got started. We're about rounding up January. If you've not started, well, you have like 11 more months to go. So what do you do? What can you do to, pick up that tech skill you've been trying to learn for quite some time this year, right? That's what we're going to be talking about, right? But before we do any of that, we want to briefly talk about skill thoughts, right? Um, Actually, Skillpot was born out of a desire to, give back to the community, so to speak, right? I'll just give a brief description about myself and my journey. Um, let's say I started learning tech when I was in the university, sometime around 2011, 2012. But then I got a grasp on it around 2018, 2019. So that took me about 6 to 7 years of learning. You'll be surprised why that long. Well, that is why I decided to start up something where I'll be giving back to persons, trying to reduce the time between their learning and their becoming tech professionals, right? So I started in 2021. I created the first bootcamp where I was able to tutor a number of persons, and I figured, oh, I could do this yearly or from time to time, and then went on 2022, we did quad 2, 2023, we did quad 3. And while we're doing all of this, we had to partner with industry professionals and industry experts, bring about curriculum that would guide our candidates or our participants to streamline their learning towards being tech professionals, right? So there is a problem with learning tech in this day and time. There's a host of materials out there, a lot of materials. There are materials as documentations, YouTube videos, websites. And if you're not careful, you find yourself learning for years everything that's available out there, and there's no timeline or not direction as to where you want to be, right? So when we partnered with industry experts, we're able to find out that we could create a curriculum that's streamlined towards what we want our learners to take in, and then in very short period of time they'll be able to get what they need to become tech professionals. In this, we were able to create impact. One of our impacts is right here on the call. She's going to talk a little bit about ourselves later and again and tell us what she did to become a tech professional in about 6 months, right? Now, last year, I stopped at core 3, that's 2023. Last year, we decided to take a break, go back to the drawing board, figure out what we want to do and how we can impact more persons, right? And that's where we gave birth to Scale Forth, um, the new name of our bootcamp and our training program, right? So Scale Forth starting um, this year, 2025, and we're planning to impact more persons from this year and beyond, right? So that's a little background about Skillforth, and we have a number of persons on the call. So just a little icebreaker. We want everyone who's on the call to try and scan this QR code that's on your screen. We want to find out what you're trying to get for this program from this webinar. So you can either scan the QR code, go to the website, and take part in the poll to let us know what you're trying to get from the webinar. Or you can go to www.menti, that is menti.com slash, that's a long, long character. You have ALP1YVHIVQVU, or you could just put in the number that's on the screen, 24920897. So we're just going to give ourselves about 5 minutes to take part in this code. Let's see what our main expectation is from today's webinar, right? So let's see what we want to gain from the webinar. That would inform how we're going to direct our conversation, how we can impact those of us who are joining us on the call right now. So let's take about 5 minutes to participate in this poll. Either scan the QR code with your phone and you go directly to the website, or you go to www.mensi.com. When you go on the website, put in the number 24920897. 24920897, or you put in the QR code of the URL that you're seeing right here on the screen. So we're just going to give ourselves 5 minutes to do this. Let's see what we're trying to gain from the webinar. Let me try it myself to see. Right, so when you go on the platform, it would ask what's your main expectation from today's webinar. Then you can enter 1, 2, or 3 words. I'm just going to give an example. Learn how to learn a tech skill. Another word would probably be know what skill. Another sentence could probably know what skill to learn. And the third one probably be, let's see, what's something else that we might want to gain. How long to be a professional, right? So if I submit this, okay, so it's not going to allow me to do that much. Timeline of events. So if I submit this, let's see. Okay, I probably need to reload the screen. Give me a second.
Um, yeah, I think is it working from your end?
Yeah, it's working for mine. I can participate in the poll, but I want the result to show up on the screen. That's what I'm expecting. So let's
Oh,
see
okay.
what's going to happen. Okay, so yeah, the poll is coming up now. We have the number of submissions. Let me bring the screen back up. Okay. So we have a number of submissions. Let's see what they are. All right, so we have know what skills learned to be a tech pro, how I can get to foreign gig. I guess maybe I'm meant to be able to answer that. How does the market look? Another how to get a foreign gig, okay? What skills to get, know more about tech, to learn about tech, how to learn a tech skill, and timeline of events. I think I was the one that added that. So let's give another 3 more minutes. Let's see if we can get more submissions. So I guess I have to keep reloading the screen to get the results. Let me reload the screen again to see. Okay. Let me reload the screen again. Let's see if we have more submissions. Okay. Okay, so we still have 10 submissions. You can keep participating in the poll. We'll probably come back to see what we expect to gain from the webinar, but let's move forward. So we already have 10 submissions. Some of them is out to, let's just say it again. Let's confirm. Okay, now we have 12 submissions. So how to learn a tech skill, to learn more about tech, tech skill to apply for, timeline of events, know more about tech, and all of these other submissions, right? So we're going to be streamlining our conversations towards answering some of these questions, and let's see how far we get. If you have other questions, you can also put them in the comment section of the YouTube stream. So I'm now going to hand over to Umfon to talk about. Next second. Let me get this. Next slide. Taking some time. Give me a second.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so talk about understanding the evolving tech landscape. So, Umfon, please go ahead.
Okay. We've seen you guys' questions, and probably after this, we'll find a way to answer the ones that we can to the best of our capabilities. So currently, the next thing we're talking about is understanding the evolving tech landscape, because to prepare for like to prepare to learn a tech skill, you just don't have to jump into it. These are like kind of the mistakes we made, we that started earlier on. So I think we had to like highlight some steps. For example, you have to understand the global tech talent demand. So currently, the global tech industry needs about 149 new tech roles by 2030, which includes software dev, cloud computing, and cybersecurity. Then we talk about the diversity in tech. When tech started, mostly it was mostly men, men. In fact, even till now, like in my team currently, I'm the only lady in the midst of like 10 guys. So there is like a huge need or want for women in tech. So this is generally like ladies, they're encouraging ladies to actually join. So there is like a huge inclusivity and also tech education. For example, now the bootcamp skill forts. If you like, how do I explain this? If you want to learn, you want to prepare, you have to do your research. So boot camps such as Skillfort will also help you through. Maureen has her Maureen is like an example to this. She's the success of Skillfort, so she can tell you more about that. Also, we'll talk about the cloud market growth. The global cloud computing market size is projected to grow from $706 billion in 2023 to $1.2 trillion by 2026, with CAGR at 16.3%. Then the web development. Over 5.5 billion people right now are online. They're creating demand for websites, apps, and user-centric designs. Take, for example, e-commerce. Global e-commerce sales are projected to hit $8.1 trillion by 2026, increasing the need for web developers. So you can see that web dev is actually going to be like a hot thing going. This is just an example. There are like 1,001 test skills out there that are also hot. We talk about the tech salaries. Currently, imagine tech salaries in Africa and India are growing with like annual earnings ranging from 4.5 million to 25 million for skilled professionals. Yep. And then for software developers, global salaries range from $80,000 to $120,000 with higher figures in regions like North America. So generally for this, we're just trying to say before you jump into tech, you have to try to understand the evolving tech landscape because the world is evolving. There are lots of things that are coming out. Even for web development, if you want to learn web development, you have to know the languages that are in session, the languages that are outdated, the languages that are hot cake. You need to do your research in all these things. And don't forget, bootcamps also help you a lot with all this. So we have to move to the next slide now. The next thing you have to do is to assess your current skills and gaps. Very important. The first thing you can do is to engage in self reflection. Reflect on your past projects, achievements, and challenges. I know that some of you are new to this. You guys don't really have projects, or you guys don't have achievements, you guys don't have challenges. But I know that when learning, there are some things you did, there are some tutorials you follow through. You can reflect on all those your past projects. If you have any past project, just take a look at it, take a look at your achievements. Also, when you take a look at all these things, you will get to understand your challenges. But it's very necessary that you reflect on your past projects, your achievements, and your challenges. Then you seek feedback from professionals. Someone like me, what I did was I when I started and things were a bit difficult, I kind of like looked for a mentor. I went to LinkedIn. I typed in front end dev. I mostly use Angular and try to look for people in my own field. And with this, I asked them, oh, see what I want to do, see what I'm into. I just started this, would like to mentor me and all that. And they were able to guide me. They were able to be there for me whenever I had any hiccup or any issues. So yeah, I think it's really, really important that you seek feedback from professionals. Then you track industry trends. This is exactly what I was talking about. You have to try your best to stay updated on emerging technologies and tools relevant to your field. You use this information to ensure your skill set aligns with the industry needs. You don't have to you don't jump into it without doing your research. You can decide to say, oh, I want to do web dev, and then web dev is getting outdated. You never can tell. Also, in that same web dev, you can say, oh, which language do I want to start with? Because that's like the most common question everybody has. So you have to like do your research. You go out there, you check out, okay, which languages are trending now, which languages and also when you check for languages that are trending, you also check for languages that are trending like in your region or in regions where you want to move to. For example, I'm currently in Portugal. In Portugal, I realized that Angular for web dev is like hot cake, but in places like Sweden, it's mostly React. So just imagine if you go, you learn Angular and you're planning to jump out to Sweden. Like it doesn't really, really help you that much. So you have to like really track industry trends, but the language and the location, it's very, very important. Then you also use online assessments. For example, you take advantage of online tools like LinkedIn skill assessment, hacker rank, very important, or Pluralsight IQ. When you take this online assessments, at first, I'm not saying you're gonna get them right. Probably you get a lot of them wrong, but it's like a step, and you also get to understand what you are trying to do, and also it makes you like to task yourself, because when you don't get it right, you will like try to work hard to know what you're doing and all that. So yes, it's very necessary that you continuously use online assessments. Even me, currently I'm like 4 years into this, 5 years into this. Once in a while I go there, I take online assessments just to be sure that okay, I'm on track, and also to keep my brain fresh, and also to get some new puzzles on the way. So the next thing you do is also review job requirements. Same thing, similar to tracking your industry trends. So whilst you're tracking your industry trends, I also advise to go through job requirements of both using the language you want to learn and also the location. So when you go through job requirements of this location, you get to understand, okay, this is what they want in this location. Because if you don't go through the job requirements, you would just jump into it, and then when you finally start it, it's not trending, or it's not needed in that location, or it's that kind of thing. So it's always good to review your job requirements. And also, take for example, let's say, okay, oh, Angola is hot cake in this region, but you miss you need things like to add things like automated testing or software testing. You will see it in the job requirements. With that, you can be able to like add more skill sets to your skills. So it's always good to review job requirements so that you will know where you're lacking and what to add or what to remove if you have to remove anything. But it helps you to stay on track and know what you're doing and all that. The next thing you have to do is to create a skills development plan. Find resources like Skillfort is very important. Find resources like Skillfort online courses, boot camps, or certification programs to bridge the gaps, especially if you're starting, or if you are stuck, or if you need help, or if you just want to like improve your skills. You never can tell. You just find resources like Skillfort online courses. Find like just do your research, join them, and I think that's gonna help you. Not I think it's gonna help you a lot. So all this mentioned will like assessing your current skills and gaps will help you prepare to learn a test skill for 2025. I think I'll hand over to my colleague Maureen to continue from here.
Okay, thank you very much, Yvonne, for that beautiful session. So, taking up from where she left off, right? I think she mentioned first of all that you should understand the tech landscape and also access your current skill set. The next thing after that is for you to develop a learning plan, right? I see a lot of people spend a lot of time in the tech industry before actually getting a role. Why? Because they don't have a learning plan. They are learning everything that they think is shining. In this tech industry that we are, there's always a tool that is going to evolve at every point in time. New tools must come out, and at that point in time, they are called the shiny tools. And some of us get don't have a path we are following. We don't have um, any goal per se in mind. We just want to, oh, wow, let's get into tech. Let's make tech money, and then you're trying to learn everything and anything. That way, you're not going to make any headway. So the first thing you need to do is to set clear goals. Define the kind of skills you want to learn. What kind of skill do you want to learn? What interests you? There are a lot of fields in the tech industry today. We have product management, we have product design, we have cyber security, software engineering. Even within the software engineering, we have specializations like the back end, the front end, the mobile. The first thing you need to do is to understand or find out that aspect of tech that interests you, because when I say interest, it's very important because the journey is tough and it's long. You need to be interested in what you're doing in order for you to reach your destination. If you're not interested, trust me, you're going to fall off along the line because the journey is tough. It's just that tough. You get so once you identify a specific part you want to learn, you just pick it and you set it as your goal, and then you give yourself a particular timeline. You say, okay, between this time and this time, I want to make sure I am job ready. Between now and 6 months, I think 6 months is a good time to actually set a goal. Now, when I mean job ready, it may not be straight off to a junior role, but at least an internship role. Within 6 months, I believe anyone that is determined and focused and following a particular path should be ready for at least an internship role. And now, when I say at least an internship role, there are people who surpass expectations. It's just natural. People are different, so there are people who surpass expectations. There are some that within 6 months, I tell you, they are ready for junior roles, and that depends on the effort and the time you give into it. Consistency and effort is very important in this tech industry. If you're not consistent, trust me, you're not going anywhere anytime soon. Like, it's when you say these people are so good. There's a guy I know who has a particular mentor, or should I say somebody I look up to in the tech industry. He would always say nobody is that good. The only reason why you think they are that good is because they have done the same thing 200 times. So the only way for you to be able to be good in this industry is for you to be consistent. That thing you're learning, you need to be consistently learning it each time. Practice and practice and practice. That is just what makes you stand out in the tech industry. Be ready to research, be ready to um, be consistent in wherever you do. Then the next thing you need to do after that is to choose your learning resources. Now, for me, when I'm learning a new concept, for instance, videos are my thing. Yeah, when I'm learning a new or generally when I started learning tech, videos were my thing, right? Because I just felt, well, it just made me understand better. I like to see someone explain it to me in the way that made sense to me. The documentations then were like, how do I understand what's going on there? It can be like that. It could be overwhelming for people who are just starting out. Documentations can really be overwhelming. But when you get a hang of everything, you realize that documentations are the fastest way to go, as in they are just like your go-to, your first go-to. But for now, when you're learning, just pick what works for you. Some people actually like reading also. They get books, they read, and it makes them move faster. But for me back then, videos were my thing. But right now, like I told you, I see videos as a waste of time. It just feels like a whole lot of waste of time. But if that's what works for you at the moment you are or at the stage you are, stick to it and make sure you're learning. The important thing is that you're learning and you're learning consistently. You understand? Then the next thing to do is to track and evaluate your progress. Check yourself from time to time. After a month, try to check what you can do now and what you were able to do a month ago. Make sure there's progress, as in you need to progress at every point in time. If there's no progress, then I think you have to go back and reevaluate your resources or the pattern in which you're using to learn. The important, because you have to make progress. Progress is important. Then the final step is to seek mentorship and practice. Now there's a problem. I see a lot of people try to jump from the goals to the mentorship. It doesn't really work that way, because a lot of these people you see or you call as mentors, they are very busy people. They have activities going on. And if there's a certain level you should be able to be at before you can interact with a mentor, because a mentor would not really indulge you if they don't see that seriousness, if they don't see the effort you're putting into what you're trying to do. Some people will just say, "Oh, I want to learn this, I want to learn this, I need a mentor, I need a mentor." That's why I said this journey is tough in the first place, right? Which is why I said, first of all, get something that interests you, because when it interests you, whether you have somebody holding your hand or not, you're always making research, you're always trying to learn because it actually interests you. So that's why you need to pick a field that interests you, because no mentor will just indulge you if you don't have anything to offer. Like they always say, no matter how much of a beginner you think you are, you have something to offer. Everybody learns from everybody. Mentors that have been coding for years, they still have things that they learn every day, even from you. But you have to show that you are that person that is worth um, indulging, and by that you have to show that you are ready and that you're actually learning what you're doing. So then after this, your next stage would be to gain practical experiences through projects, right? I think we mentioned that as the last step. Now, some people also, when they are done with learning, they just sit down and say, "Oh, I'm looking for mentorship. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for a role." The easiest way to get a role is to show that you know what you can do, and the only way you can show that you know what you say you can do is to have projects. Build projects. If you're not engaged, just build projects, build projects, build projects. I can't emphasize this enough, because the more you build, the more you encounter problems, the more you research, the more you learn. That's just how it works. Projects are, if you keep on watching tutorials from now till next year, believe you me, you're not going anywhere. You would still be having theoretical knowledge and you would not learn anything. You would not have learned anything. While someone else who has been learning and actively building, you would see that that person will make much more progress, will know more things than you. Not because you're not good enough, but because you're not building. Build projects, build personal projects. In fact, that's the easiest way you can, show your seriousness to um, a mentor or whoever is looking for internship, or whoever is saying, okay, they have a role to offer you. When they see that you have projects that you have attempted to build on your own, it just tells them, yeah, this person has potentials, this person can go far, this person can do a lot of things. Another way to gain experience is also to contribute to open source projects. There are a lot of open source projects out there. um, all you need to do is to contribute to them. This particular one gives you even international relevance, right? If you contribute to open source projects, people like to see that you have something that you like to give back, basically, because open source projects are basically projects that people do to give back to to the industry. So contributing in open source project just shows you are ready to, as in you're willing to give back to the industry that has made you who you are. They also have freelancing and internships. So basically, this is just, it's almost the same thing with building personal project, because when you build projects, that building project actually give you the confidence to to take on freelance jobs, because you've seen that, oh, okay, I can build this stuff. I've seen that I've been able to build it to this level. So that means when you get a freelancing role, like a gig or something, you're confident enough that, oh, at least I can try this. And then if you hit blockers, there are communities. There's also an important part. Please join communities. You cannot be learning in solo. Like, it's, your journey is not going to be smooth if you're learning solo. Join communities at every point in time. There are communities for every stack. Facebook or WhatsApp, Twitter, anywhere. Just be in the community. Don't just stay on your own in your room and say, "Ah, I'm learning." There are some things you may not even know exist. You would see them in communities and you'll be like, oh, so these things exist. And then once you join those communities, also, and then take internships so that you can work on real world projects and see how it is. A lot of people want to jump from, boot camp to, senior dev roles or big roles. It doesn't work like that, because you have to show that you can do what you say you can do. And one of the best ways to get experience is to either freelance, like I said, or get internships and grow your skills, because internships gives you opportunity to work on real world projects, projects that people are actually going to use. And that experience is very vital in getting um, roles in the tech industry. So I think if you're able to, follow through all these steps that Fon and I have mentioned, believe you me, you are on your way to landing a good tech role this year. So don't forget to please register for Skillforce Bootcamp that is coming up. You'd likely see me there. I don't know, but just know that we'll see again. So thank you guys.
Thank you very much, Maureen. I actually want to talk about the open source contributions part because I guess someone asked about how to get foreign gigs, right? That's one way you can actually show your skills to foreign employers, basically. So when you contribute to open source, you're able to show foreign employers that you know this stuff, this is what you do, and then basically you probably would have even done your interviews by just contributing to open source projects. So now we want to talk about bridging the gap, the knowledge gap. So between where you are right now and where you want to be in 6 months, 8 months time, there is a gap, right? Some persons who do not know what to do, that gap is between, it's going to be between maybe 1 year to 8 years, like it was for myself. But we want to see how we can bridge that gap in a shorter period of time. And at Scaleforce, we are using three-stage program to handle this, right? The foundation program is the first stage where you're going to be learning the fundamentals of backend, front end, cloud computing, and as well as customer success. Yeah. So you're going to be learning the fundamentals of this, and then we now go to the second stage of the program, which is the internship program. Here, you're going to be using the practical, you're going to be converting your fundamental knowledge to practical implementation. So you're going to be working on real world projects, gaining hands-on experience. on what you've already learned in the foundational program, right? Yeah. Then at the end of the internship program, we're going to be given a capstone project. Now, this project is something that you can add in your portfolio. I think Maureen, during her time, she did a number of projects, I think about 4 or 5 of them. And at the end of the day, she was able to use those projects wherever she was working as an example to show that, oh, I've been able to build this, this, and this. So do not take the internship part of our program for granted. It's very important because that's where you get um, hands-on experience to show employers that you're able to handle tasks that are assigned to you. Then finally, when you're done with the foundation program, the internship program, and the capstone project, we're going to be handing you a 1 month recruitment support where we're going to be helping you with mock interviews, giving you resources on how to prepare for interviews, giving you resources on how to get jobs. Maureen mentioned joining communities. We're going to be showing you some of these communities where you can join them to liaise with other tech enthusiasts, tech professionals, not tech enthusiasts this time, because you're no longer enthusiast, you're now a professional. So you're going to be liaising with other professionals in the field and sharing knowledge, right? So these are the steps that we're taking to bridge the gap between you being an enthusiast down to you being a professional, right? So when you're able to follow with this process, we're sure that at the end of 6 months to 7 months, you would have gone farther than you assumed to go by yourself. So now we're at the end of the program, but we know that there are going to be some questions that uh, friends on the call would have for us. I think we already noticed some of these questions, so we're going to be answering some of them one by one. Then, if you have other questions, please drop them in the comment section. We'll be very much happy to answer those questions. Well, in the meantime, you can also connect with us on WhatsApp, email, and on our website. You can also scan the QR codes to go directly to the register form where you can register for Skillforce Cohort 4 that's starting up in March 1st this year. So let's see how we can answer as much questions as possible. In the meantime, we have persons who are saying hello. We have Chibueze saying hello. We have I am saying hi, I am I Chibueze. We have Sammy saying dope. Thank you very much, Sammy. So we have Isaac who said he was unable to participate in the poll. Sorry about that. You can comment in the YouTube. Although we're done, but if you have any questions, you can comment your questions in the YouTube comment section. So we have Sammy also who is asking, do you guys think everyone, both men and women, have the mental capacity to actually develop good tech skills? I'm going to hand over to Infant to answer this. I think he talked about the diversity gap between men and women in the tech space. So, Infant, I don't know if you can answer this.
Yeah, so there's a saying, what a man can do, a woman can do it better, right? So so yes, definitely. When it comes to mental capacity, it's not about gender, it's about you putting in the work. If you don't put in the work, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, you won't get the results you're looking for. So I think we should put aside the man and the woman thingy and just focus on you as a person. If you want to do this, just have to put in the work, and you will definitely achieve this. So um yeah, that's the answer. Everyone can do it,
Yeah,
whether you're a man or a woman. So
I agree with you, Infant. Um, Basically, I think one thing we're also trying to achieve in Quad 4 of our program is to get more ladies into tech, right? Because we also have noticed the gap in the amount of ladies that try out tech and the amount of men that try out tech, right? So we want to see us how, as Skillforce, we can contribute to having more ladies join the tech ecosystem, and we'll see what we can do in Quad 4. We really, really do need that diversity so that we see things differently and we'll be able to handle things differently when we have um, a balance between men and women in tech.
Oh
All
yeah,
right,
the
so I hope
balance
that
is
answers
needed.
your, yeah, the balance is needed. So I hope that answers your question, Sammy. So we also have a question from Isaac saying, how can I be sure if my skill wouldn't eventually be taken over by AI? For example, graphics design and many more. Well, we're already having the AI conversation. It started last year, and right now AI seems to be, what everyone wants to do right now, right? Even persons who are not really in tech are taking advantage of the um, AI ecosystem, to make life easy for themselves. But should we be scared? I don't know. Maureen, what do you think?
So for me, right, I would say AI is going to take a lot of jobs. That's just for sure. As in, I think we have to owe ourselves that much truth, so that would try to do better. AI is going to take a lot of jobs, but it doesn't mean it's going to take everything, right? The advantage is that you can make AI your friend. Don't look at AI as your enemy right now. Make AI your friend and use AI to enhance your own productivity, right? Because uh, in a few months from now, or let's say a few years from now, companies will be looking out for people who can use AI to drive productivity. Because um, let's say one engineer, for instance, who knows how to use AI a lot, can actually be productive enough to cover for two engineers. So if you're just sitting back there and being afraid of AI and saying, "Oh no, AI is here to take my job. AI is here to take my job," you would not make any progress. Instead, look at AI as a friend. Ask yourself, how can I use AI to make my job better? How can I be two times efficient with AI? How can I be faster? How can I move with more speed? How can I move with as a speed and quality at the same time using AI? That should be your drive right now, because in the next 10 years, AI cannot totally replace humans, but it's going to replace those who are like slider. If you don't make that effort to say, "Oh, I'm going to use AI to be more productive," nobody is going to indulge you. So all I would say is AI cannot take your job if you are prepared for AI. Use AI to your advantage instead, and don't be afraid of AI. So that's my own opinion, though.
Gabriel, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. I just realized. Thank you very much, Maureen. I think I remember the first time I had a conversation with a colleague about AI sometime last year when the whole AI vibe started coming up, right? I mentioned we shouldn't be worried about AI because over the years, there's been like an update to one thing or the other. Technology has been growing over the years. When I learned about computers the first time, sometime around 2004, 2003, I learned with a typewriter. It wasn't really um, because there were no computers, but I learned about typing with a typewriter. Now, we had persons who were skeptical about computers at the time because they were so used to, using typewriters at the time, right? Now, they didn't grow with the trend and then they were left behind. Now, typing with your Microsoft Word or any other document interface right now is assisted with AI. And if you do not grow with the trend, you'll be left behind. So, like Maureen said, you just need to grow with the trend, and I guess you'd be among those who would survive the apocalypse into the future, right? So, yeah, do not be scared of AI. Just take advantage of it. All right, so we have another question. I think I would have to undo this. Would you be teaching all parts of tech together, or each person chooses which one and focuses on it? Right. Tech is broad. Tech is a very huge field, right? We have four programs, actually five programs, right? So we have five programs that we're teaching in this course. We have front end engineering, that's a program on its own. We have backend with Python, a program on its own, backend with .NET, cloud computing, and finally we have customer support and slash sources, right? So we wouldn't be teaching all of these to everyone who applying to the program, right? Instead, you have to choose a particular field that you're interested in. And if you're worried and you do not know what to pick, what field to pick, you can contact us using the WhatsApp line, and we would assess you and help you choose that field that would be best suited for you. So yeah, that answers that question. Moving on, um, next question saying, and I'm sorry I joined a bit late. Could you summarize differences between front end and back end and the rest if possible? So let's leave this to Umfon to address. Umfon, what are the differences between front end and back end? I think you be the best person to explain.
So front end is basically the UI that you see. Back end is what you don't see. The logic behind why things are working. You don't see it. For example, you want to log onto a website, you see login, you see put your username or put your password and all that. You just click on enter. When you click on enter, there is a logic that happens for that for you to log into the website or the web app. So that thing that you do not see, the main logic is the back end. But the UI, the beautiful website, the everything what you see is basically the front end. So the front end devs mostly work with the UI guys to bring to life what they have designed, while the back end handles the logic of everything that's happening there. So that's like basically the difference.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Maureen, do you want to add to that?
Not really. I think we found did justice to that. Just like you said, the
All right.
UI, the front end is just the UI, what you see, and the back end is the logic.
Yes, exactly. So, by UI, we mean user interface. So the part of the app that you interface, that you react to, you operate, that's the front end.
You click.
The back end is the that you click exactly. Right. The back end is the engine behind it that carries out your interactions and converts them into whatever you want them to be. Whatever you want done, that's the back end. That's the part that you don't see. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Eunice. Finally, I think we have one more question here. Will the skill acquisition be held in person or virtually? Cohort 4, like group 1, 2, and 3, will be held virtually, and we are trying to get as much persons as possible into the right? So we're not trying to do a trend of volume over value, right? So we're trying to have a balance between volume and value, right? And we know that there are some persons who can just drop everything and then pick up learning at the moment. So because of this, we have that understanding that okay, we want to make things available to as much persons as possible. We're deciding to go virtually as well as on weekends, right? So our classes will be held on Saturdays and virtually, right? Then we would have recordings of our sessions so that if you if you miss a session, you'll be able to watch that session during the week. And then we also have assignments or assessment that will be handed over bi-monthly. So every 2 weeks, assessment will be given to practice on what you've learned, and then we'll assess you and see how you're coming or how you're growing, and then we'll be able to um, um, take you along. Basically, that's the idea behind the program, right? So it's not just uh, uh, an everyday thing, but it's going to be happening every week on the weekends and Saturdays. You would also have access, continuous access to your trainers, even if classes are not going to be held every day. You would have continuous access to your trainers and other participants on the program, even during the week, right? But classes will be held virtually and on Saturdays. I hope that answers your question, Isaac. All right, so that's the last question that we have. I don't know if you have any other questions. If you have any other questions, you can send us on our WhatsApp at 08158406306. Um, or you can send us an email at info@skillfort.org. Before we leave, we have one last question that I think we're going to just address, then we jump off the call. Uh, this one says, apart from LinkedIn, where would a person be able to find a community? Uh, I don't think, I'm not sure Maureen is still here. You can find the community anywhere. You can find communities on Slack, you can find communities on WhatsApp, um, on Facebook. There are communities on Facebook, on Telegrams, right? So you just, I think when you go to meetups, that's one way to connect with people. When you go to meetups, you can connect with everyone and ask them what communities they are um, in, and then they can share you access to that community, right? So there are communities on WhatsApp, there are communities on Facebook, on Telegram, on Twitter, even or X, right? So there are communities everywhere, right? You just need to connect with other tech enthusiasts or other tech professionals, and then be able to join these communities. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. We are trying to streamline the webinar to 1 hour, and we're already at 55 minutes. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, Mufan, for joining and sharing insights about your journey. Thank you very much, Maureen. We appreciate everyone who joined, as well as viewers who joined. We thank you all so much. So this is where we draw the curtain and we say bye bye.
Bye.